start in about, it's gonna be starting by minutes, so everybody can, be seated. And it's not a hallucination that you're seeing here. I'm the only one sitting here right now, so there's nothing wrong with your video. I am here, nothing is flashing, so we're gonna start. We don't have a quorum yet, but in order to be, taking all into consideration, we're gonna start with announcements. That's only fair. We're already 10 minutes behind, okay? So we're gonna start with, roll call. As you know, it's only I'm the only one here, and I'm pretty sure individuals will be coming in late, in the next, 30 minutes or so. They had a lot of things that was coming up on this day on April the 1st. So today, Tuesday, April the 1st, 2025, the meeting has now started. It is now 5:10. The agenda items, may be taken out of order based on the business of the day in preference. So right now, we're good, okay? Roll call, we don't have to do roll call, because like I say, I am here, and key marriages will be decided over me, and vice chair for the next. Removing off for item 2 at this time, there will not be, review and approval of the minutes for March minutes until we receive a quorum. We bypassing that item. The attachment now, we'll be having public comments, and when I speak of public comments, there will be announcements within your comments. We're gonna hold it down for like 3 minutes if we can. Anything else that needs to have a update, that will come under your committee updates, okay? So we good with that? All right. So with that, do we have any public comment? Thank you.
How's everybody doing? My name is Kyle Dennis. I'm the Community Services Coordinator. Couple of things, events that we have going on are coming up in the next month. CHCC has a youth entrepreneurship program, the Young Boss Network Youth Program. It's an 8-week course. We have that going on in the Resource Center right now. If you go onto our CHCC website, you can see this available for youth between the ages of 14 and 22. We also have the Growing Wiser Group has the annual pre-Easter breakfast and fashion show. That's going to be Saturday, April 12th. Doors open at 10:15 a.m. And it will be, I believe, here at 515 Silver. And you can go on the website and go under Corinne Sane Senior and Family Community Center, and you can see this flyer. Lastly, I have the Earth Day Festival coming up. That's April 19th, 2025 at Shields Reed Park. We'll have a couple of cleanup projects over at Lucky Ace Park, which will be headed by Urban Tilt and also Watershed Project. We'll have at the activity afterwards, we'll start about 10:30, 11 to 2:30 this year. We'll have a petting zoo for the kids. We'll have a pony ride. We'll have face painting, music, things of that nature. Also, we on the website, if you go on the CHCC website, also on John Joy's website, we have a volunteer form available for those who are willing to volunteer for the cleanup project that we're doing at Wildcat Creek. And I believe that's it for right now. All right, thank you.
Are there any other announcements at this time? Thank you, Ms. Latifa.
Hi, my name is Latifa Abdullah, and well, first I'm going to talk as a resident. I just wanted to let you all know, if you're a North Richmond resident, you probably got this in the mail or an email. It's from DTSC. It's to comment on the draft permit for the Chevron Environmental Management Company. And it says that it's historically known as a Chevron Chemical Company. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Besides being a North Richmond resident, I also work at the North Richmond Farm. We're at 323 Brookside Drive, and we are producing and building on the 3 acres there. And at some point, you as a community will have the opportunity to go through the process for the additional 7 acres to let us know what you want to have built there. And if you're a North Richmond resident, you probably got this in the mail. These are all our activities for April. Some of the, and you can go to urbantilt.org/events for these. So whether it's going to Verde, that's tomorrow. You can harvest at the school garden. We have an after-school program every Wednesday from 3:30 to 5. That's the pre-K through 5th grade. At the Richmond High School, you have an opportunity to participate every first Sunday, and that's from the little ones on up. Spring break is at the North Richmond Farm. That's the 6th through 8th graders, April 7th through the 11th. And we have the CSA Packing Day. I think you were just at one of those, right? Yeah, so you can go to the farm and help pack the bags for the community. And as Palu mentioned, we are also participating in the North Richmond Earth Day. So again, you can get all the events on urbantilt.org/events. And I also have flyers on the table. We have a new comms department. So what you'll see is the North Richmond residents here, North Richmond events here. And then at the bottom, we also serve other parts of Richmond. So you'll see events for the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado. So I think that is it for now. Thank you.
Are there any other announcements at this time? Are there any on Zoom?
No.
None on Zoom. Okay. Well, thank you. We will continue with our agenda. At this time, we have law enforcement and agencies to have our report, starting with our sheriff.
Good evening. My name's Deputy Aaron Sky, Sheriff's Office. As you know, the resident deputy out here. Just a quick update. We're actually, my partner, Deputy Proctor and I today, we did a walkthrough over near Wildcat Creek. Looks like as far as county property goes and any of the homes that were near Verde Elementary are no longer there. We definitely try to keep an eye on that and make sure that this is not impacting either the waterways and or the anywhere near the schools. So they're out of the area as far as county goes. We did last month, we had, and just to give it a heads up. So first off, we've been checking cars, like everybody's getting the registrations updated. Thank you. Makes it a little easier, but we did tow last month about 15 cars out of North for usually, most of the time it's for expired registration. When they're residents, really try to make the resident aware that, hey, you need to get this, the vehicle either off the street and put it on the property or get the registration updated. I understand the California smog laws and trying to get the registration updated. It's a challenge and it's quite kind of pricey, but we try to be lenient with that. But if the car is registered, is expired year or 2 years, you know, we have to do something. In addition, we had a couple of domestic violence incidents. So I'd say 2 last month, 2 vandalisms. And also thanks to Jose Avila with Contra Costa County Environmental Health, we did find an illegal dumper over there on 2nd Street between Silver and Market. He identified an illegal dumper. Actually, the person was a resident, lived in the neighborhood, lived across the street, and was dumping all of his items onto literally across the street on 2nd Street. Jose contacted him. He called me out there. I spoke to him. I ended up citing him for illegal dumping. And then a report has already been written on the incident. So we are still pressing really hard on as far as illegal dumping goes, but it looks overall, I would say the neighborhood looks really good. But there are still, people are getting smart and they're not leaving their mail or any type of evidence to prove where I can try to go and do some follow-up. Other than that, that's about it. If there's any questions.
There was a 7-year-old that ran away on First Street, and I was just wondering, well, did she return home? There was like a helicopter with like this announcement over the,
Was this over the weekend?
yeah, I think earlier this week or,
I think you have to speak up so everybody.
yeah, the 7-year-old that ran away. Do you know?
I'm not really, I mean, I do remember them kind of giving us pass down about the weekend when we started on Monday, yesterday. Didn't hear as far as the runaway juvenile goes. But we would have been, there should have been a lot more history. We should have been notified. They would have called out everybody. There would have been, search and rescue would have been out here.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's like search and rescues, like they're usually all in tan, they're in volunteers. They would call out outside agencies and there would be literally probably 100, 200 people out here. And we'd be going neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood, literally street by street and trying to check every single house. I want to say yes, can't confirm that, but
It's searching.
yeah, we would still be looking. So.
So, so that answers, okay, so, definitely,
Yes, ma'am.
if you will, if you could mention my incident
Oh,
for.
it was up to you, man. All right, so what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, yeah, so she had a transient subject, actually was somebody that was new to the area. Actually, Al from El Salvador, we learned. Me and my partner ended up locating, but he was actually trying to remove the wood off of her windows over there off of Verde near Truman. Yeah, Verde and Truman. So they're trying to remove the wood, and when we contacted him, he said, oh, well, I was gonna take the wood to go burn. I'm like, no, don't be touching anybody's property. Don't be looking at anybody's property in North Richmond, period. Don't be committing in any of that type of activity. So we contacted him. I found out who he is. I know who he is. My partner, Deputy Ironman, if you've met him before, very lively individual. We're well aware, we know who he is. So, I haven't seen him since. Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do. So, but we are aware and we basically told him, get out of North Richmond. We don't want to see you here.
Okay, thank you for sharing and thank you for
Amen.
your expedition work in the other office also. Appreciate you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you. So do we have any other law enforcement from the Richmond, PD?
I don't see anyone.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep moving. Okay, thank you. All right, so that's the end of our reports for law enforcement agencies report. Next is Richmond land presentation. Are they on?
Oh, I actually just came in person.
Are you Richmond land?
Yeah, no, I'm willing to be here.
Okay, okay, all right, so yes. Announce who you are so they can hear you. So,
Presentation.
just one moment, he's getting it together.
I'm Dylan Avery Hart. I'm the community engagement manager at Richmond Land. So I just came by to give y'all kind of an introduction to our organization, some of the work we do here and ways that you guys can come and get involved with us here. So got a quick little slideshow.
Okay, and you're gonna have to come to the corner so they can actually see who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a minute just for the setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
We just do,
now,
can I use it from the side too? Should I flip it like click through it or?
Well, I think you are that's a program, so I want.
Oh, okay.
and can you widen the stream?
That's what I was doing.
Tanya, we have the water. Can you open the stream a little bit? All right, well, please don't have to step into the view. And if you can't, we'll just step into the view. so we won't be cut off from not being seen.
Is it that I've entered the school?
This is far full.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, you might have to, yeah, I was gonna say, you might have to flip through.
I'll
on the
flip
side.
it.
Okay, Ben.
So I'm sorry, it's just one, how many people we have on, Zoom? We're put, you know,
How many people we have on Zoom?
and see if they can they hear us pretty clearly? or-
Coming through Zoom.
Did you hear?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay,
Ben, no,
thank you.
appreciate y'all.
Not ignoring you all, we just want to make sure that you all are very inclusive in this meeting also, so thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, introduce yourself.
No, I
again.
appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all's time. Like I said, I'm Dylan Avery Harp. I'm the community engagement manager up at Richmond Land. So I just wanted to come through and give y'all guys a little bit of a preview of what we've been doing, what we're doing currently, and what we're doing in the future. Just ways that the community can get involved. So with that, we can jump right through. We can
And
run
take your
through.
time, sir, they gotta kind of.
Yeah, no, y'all soak it in. So. Oh, no, I'm okay. I appreciate you. So a couple little things that we kind of will cover in it is just like, you know, I'll introduce our new staff. We've fully staffed up over this last year. Prior to that, we were kind of just headed by Princess and a few other folk that have been long-term Richmond Land organizers and leaders. But at this point, we are fully staffed up. So I'll introduce our staff to you guys. Just a brief overview of Richmond Land, where we started, what our original organizational name was, where we are now, some of our organizing projects, and the most important thing about our organization, our membership. So how you guys can get involved as members and what our members actually do for our organization. So that we can move on to the next slide. So this is our team. Fortunately, I'm the only one here today, but you know, I encourage you guys to reach out to us at all times. Anytime you reach out to schedule appointments, one-on-ones, they'll come through to me and I can introduce y'all to the rest of our team. Obviously, come out to our events as well. Our executive director, who you'll know probably pretty well, is Princess Robinson. You guys might know James as well. He's our Just Transition Manager here on the far end. The second one in is our real estate manager, Amy Young. So she's at the head of all of our transformative real estate projects here in Richmond. Myself, Dylan Hart, as our community engagement manager, and then longtime Richmond native Daniel Sumler is our operations manager. So she kind of holding down everything on the back end. Just like quick thing, we as a community land trust that's headed by a woman of color from Richmond, we just want to make sure that we are basing our work in the needs of our community here, and also over the future, we want to have a transformative real estate project in every corner of Richmond that serves the needs of our community and the housing needs that are pressing. So with that, we can jump into the next slide and kind of answer the question on everybody's mind: what is a community land trust? So I'm not sure if that video will play on here. Okay, because it's in a PDF. All right. So a community land trust is a community-driven model of land ownership where land is held in collective ownership by a group of people, Richmond locals in this state, in this case. So with that, the improvements on top of the land are communally driven and communally beneficial. So that could take the form of a multi-unit housing project, which we have 2 of in our project portfolio right now. It could also take the form of community assets and needs that the community asks for. That's a community garden, which we're also trying to integrate into one of our projects currently. So we find that a community land trust is pivotal in Richmond right now because of the history of dispossession of land that has happened here, obviously affecting BIPOC folk, low-income folks. So with that, we've become Richmond's first community land trust in hopes to bring affordable and collective housing that removes property from the speculative market, essentially removing it from the for-profit market and instead holding it for our community to benefit off of in perpetuity. So with that, we can kind of jump into who we are as an organization on the next slide. So Richmond Land is our Richmond-based community land trust. our mission is to build grassroots power for community-controlled land use through community organizing, acquisition, and community-driven development. What that means is that at the core of our process is self-determination of our community and our members. So we want local Richmond folk to have control over land and property here in Richmond, and we want them to drive what happens on that property. So we want to help steward that process. Along with that is a need to build capacity of Richmond locals. We obviously know that it's not always possible to participate in changing policies, advocating for housing, those type of things, because day-to-day needs aren't always met. So with that, we want to be an organization that actually builds the capacity of our local Richmond community to expand into homegrown experts around the area and what they need in these projects. So with that, we can kind of jump into a little bit of the history of our organization. Some of you guys might be more familiar with ourselves and our past organization than others. So in 2018, we were actually founded as Richmond CDE, which is Community Owned Development Enterprise. It was built upon lessons learned from residents' efforts to win communal benefits agreements during the Berkeley Global Campus Initiative. And so by 2019, we had actually changed our name into Richmond Land, as you know us now. And we began kind of implementing this community land controlled model for housing. At that point, a bunch of Richmond residents, including Princess Robinson, came together and researched and designed community development and housing project concepts that were part of a fellowship project that Richmond Land held. And those projects that Richmond Land locals participating in that fellowship came up with have actually become the first two projects that we stewarded. So kind of just at the root of bringing our membership to kind of the head of what we do at all times. So by 2020, beginning of the pandemic, we actually officially received 501c3 status, allowing us to kind of operate and begin shaping our community land trust model to realize those resident-led development projects. And that kind of leads us into now. We've successfully acquired 2 properties and are organizing to develop a shared equity housing program that will allow us to expand ownership of properties even further. Just our first property that we acquired was South 24th Street. It has a multifamily, it's a multifamily unit with 3 families living there right now. And we acquired it to try to stabilize ownership for those residents so they wouldn't be forced out of their house. The other project that we're leading is on Guillermita Street. It's right in front of Verde. It's the North Richmond Eco Village, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later. So just to kind of introduce, once again, our points of unity, we do believe that land is essential to liberation. So with the history of dispossession of lands in multiple different ways here in Richmond, we believe that housing and land is essential to realizing one's just overall wellness. We also believe that BIPOC folk carry histories of land theft and disposition in their histories. And so that land control becomes kind of required for liberation of those folk. We also believe that residents should co-create and steward those future projects and their neighborhoods. And we believe that experiences matter and no one is disposable here, and that residents carry wisdom of their neighborhoods and their areas. So there's no one better to listen to. And that's why we are trying to expand membership in our local area here. Another thing that is our final point of unity that we ask members to agree to is that conventional economic and community development systems that have been in place for hundreds of years don't adequately serve our areas. With that being said, that we believe new development in our area should be driven for people and not profit. And so in that sense, our work really pursues that model and is trying to bring affordable housing, not just to our current state, but for 99 years at a time into the future. So with that, we can kind of move on a little bit to the next slide. So this is our organizational structure. I would typically pass the mic to Princess here, but I will guide y'all through a little bit of it. We have a tripart board of directors that hold us accountable. So we're not just, organizing to our own desires, but We have multiple Richmond locals and leaders that hold us to different levels of responsibility. If it's a public good board, we obviously have people that regulate our budget and that we answer to in this work. Our other guiding force and really our most important part of the organization is our members. So they actually decide what we do as a member-driven organization. So we have quarterly member meetings, and all members are actually asked to give input and guide the projects that we spend our organizational budget on. And then we have core staff. So we have 5 core staff members, and really what we do is serve the members in the board. So we are really just here to try to facilitate members being upskilled into homeowners and trying to facilitate projects that they find important to their community. And then we can go on to how we do our work. So along with everything I've told you about our mission, something we really believe in is community advocacy and cultural advocacy. So a lot of our work starts just here in our community. So you'll see me at a bunch of different events around the community tabling, and you'll also see us planning and hosting events here that facilitate the needs of our community. And then through that outreach, we hope to bring members into our transformative real estate projects, which are quite literally acquiring the land that the members then decide what happens on. Excellent. And so this is just a little bit of the history of what that local organizing has amounted to. We have been at the heart of advocacy efforts such as the North Richmond MOU that controls and asks for certain interests to be considered when developing. So developers can't just come into North Richmond and decide on things that might not be pivotal and might not be asked for by the community. We also have a just right to return policy that we are enacting in all of our transformative real estate projects. That just means that members of the community that were forced to leave for all different reasons, if it was foreclosures on project buildings or low income situations, we actually prioritize those folks to come back to those properties as we develop them. And then we have the equitable land disposition policy that just further works to keep land in community, it keeps land as a community asset. So along with that, we are kind of rooted in cultural and art initiatives. And so to that point, we've actually produced a good amount of cultural products. We've hosted a series that was a podcast called Southside Talks on the South Side that gathered stories of Southside resiliency and resident stories and brought them to the public. We have also done a book called 8 Principles Through Black Women's Lens that kind of illustrates the experience of Black women here in Richmond. And we've also ventured out into raising advocacy around the Laotian displacement here in Richmond. So it's just, we really want to bring awareness to our community as we build housing assets for communities as well. Next one. And then this is something I really want to focus on because our organizational ask is for you to join us as members. Membership is extremely easy to sign up for. And through the last few months, we've actually reworked our membership framework to be a lot more simple. So anybody and everybody here in our community is obviously a community member. And so we actually allow community members to run for our board of directors, and they can cast votes and advise all of our projects. Resident members are anybody and anybody who lives at a Richmond land owned property. So as you'll see, we have some properties that we're stewarding 16 to 22 living units on. So we're hoping that this membership pathway actually not only benefits the decisions of the properties that we own, but we want to see as many community members as possible become resident members and actually tangibly benefit from the housing developments that we steward. And that kind of gets me into some of our project portfolio. So as you can see, so here's South Richmond and North Richmond. The 24th Street property was kind of an act of preservation. There were multiple families living there and we acquired the property to help mitigate displacement that was kind of looming. So with that, though, we've also worked with them to make multiple improvements to the property. Currently, we're in the process of rebuilding the deck there. And this was a property that was owned by a Richmond local family, and the triplex that's there now is actually built by the original family member who still lives there. So it's central to some of our work and central to us developing our resident member framework. On the other side of Richmond, we have kind of our flagship development project. It is a multi-unit North Richmond Eco Village that will house 16 to 22 small cottage-style homes, along with a ton of community assets, including a community garden, as well as community spaces that will allow people to cook and steward communal connections while they live there. This was a property that was actually dreamed up by Princess Robinson herself while she was a fellow of Richmond Land prior to being the executive director. And so that property is currently in escrow to us. And so we have interim use on that property. You'll see a bunch of projects, including the communal garden, start popping up there. We also have a community stewarded event that will be happening there on Juneteenth this year. So we really want you to stay tapped in. We also take all communal input on how this property develops. So on the next slide, if you scan this QR code, you will be able to become a member and also individually help us steward what happens on that property. And that is right in front of Verde Elementary. So with that, we can do the next one. And so, yeah, with that, I would really just appreciate y'all tapping in and getting involved with us. There are multiple ways to do that. First and foremost, please just take a picture of this, even if you don't sign up right now, and pass it along to other folks to sign up. We are trying to get as much input from our local community as possible. And like I said, sign up is a few quick questions about yourself, where you're from, and what you find important in this community, because we want to know so we can make that happen. So along with becoming a member, we ask you guys to get active with us. So just attend our member meetings. As soon as you sign up for that, you'll be added to a member list along with around 60 other members and 300 other subscribers who will receive all of our communications from me personally. And we have a long list of events that are coming up as well. And then furthermore, the main thing is we just want our Richmond community to dream big. And by that, I mean just participate in our member proposal process, which is also included in membership, to kind of guide our next acquisition. So if you participate in our member meetings, we are hoping to give the tools to our Richmond community to walk through your neighborhoods and see projects that might benefit the greater Richmond community and yourself. So with that, I really appreciate you guys' time. Like I said, I was going, come meet me. I have cards that also have our membership sign up. And more than anything, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, but if there are any questions that you have and your last name was, I know
It's hard, like the instrument, HARP, Dylan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you have any questions, just come here to ask.
Yeah.
I do have a few, but for the our audience, we're gonna start with our audience here, and then if there are any questions on Zoom, Tanya, please let him know.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to answer their questions also. So let's start with our audience here. State your name.
Yeah, my name is Patricia Chavez, and I know a little bit of the Richmond land because I've tried to be involved in it. One question that I have is there any cost for the membership?
Cost wise, so actually, since I've come on, we have reworked our membership framework. Prior, we were asking for donations for as little as $2 to $20. Since we've kind of restaffed and restructured, we are not asking explicitly for monetary dues to be a member. We would rather see participation be a non-negotiable due in that sense. So that's all listed in our membership framework prior to signing up if you scan that. But more than anything, we just want members to tap in with us and participate. So there's no monetary ask that's required. It's more so just participation.
Second thing that I have, I mean, thank you. I mean, it's really interesting and it sounds really nice. I mean, one thing that I keep saying, like, is with this project that it's for the eco village is like, please take into consideration, you know, the people around, like really get them on board and
Yeah.
try to, you know, one of the concerns now that I was bringing up is like, here, you know, the parking spots are getting, causing some problems. I don't know. If you plan for something, please plan to have some space, you know, like, just to don't create, you know, I mean, we want to have people living lives and
Yeah.
having, you know, good life here.
Of course.
But we want to know that people that is already here, like, you know. try to
Yeah.
Just
To consider the neighborhood.
work together.
Yeah.
And all of us will live from each other, so work together and see what, how we can make living here, you know, more enjoyable.
No, I really appreciate that you brought that up. Yeah, so my role here is specifically to work with the community around the site to canvas and get their input. Specifically to your question about parking, we are integrating parking onto the grounds itself as well. That will double as a solar panel mount spot. So hopefully we won't hopefully that'll mitigate some of those concerns around congestion in the neighborhood, but I really appreciate that input. And also on our website, as well as our Facebook, there is a North Richmond Eco Village, so mouthful, interest form that has a way for anybody to put concerns like that in. Yeah, so we really do want to get as much feedback from the community, me specifically as well. So yeah, I hope to continue this conversation as well as any others. So
Thank you.
no, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, hi. My name is Emerald George. I actually grew up in North Richmond, born and raised, well, born in Oakland, grew up in, raised in Richmond.
We still, not right now, we're still doing the audience here, and then we're gonna open up to the Zoom. I apologize for cutting you off, but we're still having the audience here, and then we're gonna go to, our participants on Zoom. And please be patient. Thank you. This other lady.
Sorry about that. I'm B. Coleman. I'm a great presentation. Thank you. I'm supporting, I'm one of the fellows of the Partnership for the Village Future. So the next 2 years, one of my jobs is going to be doing everything I can to make sure that that local preference policy is implemented with this project, where folks there is an order, people who are eligible and being considered for themselves to develop at the Eco Village, starting with people who live at Los Deltas before we shut down and relocated, then folks who live and work in Richmond in the village and public. So that's written into the policy and we have to follow that. And we're doing our best to hold that up too. I had a question about your membership. So I saw that community members can participate in like organizational elections. Would that, an example of that be like for the board, the tri-party board, or even to go to the board?
Yeah, we all of our members are eligible to run for board positions as well as vote on board positions, and then also through the member proposal process, community members are able to actually identify projects that they want to bring into our portfolio. So just a couple ways members can definitely get involved. And also come out to our quarterly member meetings as we develop other ways for members to continually kind of guide our processes.
Okay, any others before we go on Zoom? Okay, hearing none. Okay, open up.
Emerald, do you still want to speak?
Yes, I had a question. And so I moved away from Richmond. My mom did, right? So, but my family has a rich history there, and I would like to know, like, as far as people that wanted to buy property, because as we know, like, the more ownership that we have in North Richmond, the more power that we have. How does that work for people who do want to purchase? multifamily units or what have you? Do you have special programs for them? Do you assist with like the first time homeowners type of purchase things? Like, how does it work with people's credit? Because if you know, like a lot of people that do live there, not everybody has the best credit, right? And so for the people who would either like to purchase property that live there or who want to move back and try to help the community, like, well, is there like a plan for that? That's my first question.
Yeah, so also super appreciate the question, and it kind of brings back to focus a lot of our work around our just right to return policy. So in that explicitly, we state that members of the community that were removed from sites that we directly purchase and develop do have first preference to come back. And then to B's point earlier, if we are developing a project here in Richmond, Richmond residents and folk with a history to Richmond do have priority in moving into those sites. To kind of further like explore your question though, we do operate under a CLT model, which is a community land trust model. So it's slightly different than like traditional home ownership or traditional models of ownership and profit. We specifically are doing the work we do to steward properties that will remain in collective asset and benefit the collective community for longer term than speculatively generating profit, which is kind of more of a traditional market. But in that sense, I was going to say, I would love to connect you with our real estate manager who can kind of meet with you one-on-one or at a member meeting to explore some of the options that we do offer as a community land trust and kind of clarify to some of your questions about how that looks in terms of long-term ownership and also just entering ownership contracts with us.
And then, just to add a little bit more, because, and I know the housing authority is gonna give a presentation, well, they're gonna give their updates, so they could also elaborate more, but Richmond Land was one of 4 developers selected. And there's 16 sites in total, and so Richmond Land is the only land trust model. So the other 3 developers are gonna do first time home ownership, and they do offer programs for down payment and like improving your credit and kind of like financial literacy. And those include CHGC of North Richmond, Richmond Community Foundation, and Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services. So all 3, along with Richmond Land, were selected to renovate these 16 scattered sites. And they just signed like the documents to be the owners of the land recently. So they're gonna continue to come to this meeting and give updates. So this is a great space to join on a monthly basis and kind of hear like where they're at in the process. The goal is that they're gonna either break ground or finish within 3 years. Within 3 years, they either break ground or they have to at minimum break ground.
Yeah, no.
Some of them say that they might finish it earlier depending on the organization and stuff, but that's kind of.
Yeah, no, I super appreciate that time.
That's
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah, my grandmother actually worked very closely with the neighborhood house. Her name was Lucy Brown. I believe she received a award of some sort. That's my grandmother. My grandfather was Charles Brown, and he was the first Black building inspector for the city of Richmond. For me, I want to come back and I want to build some residential care facilities for the elderly, help out with some homeless issues, as well as I'm a registered nurse. And I'm in my master's program I'm to become a nurse practitioner. And I want to work with some gut microbiome things because there's so many chemical plants around there that I don't think that we're focused enough on health as well as wealth. And it's like it's a triad thing, right? And so I look forward to connecting with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
no, yeah, I definitely look forward to connecting with you and would love to meet with you one-on-one. And like I said, kind of give you a little bit more information about how our policy works. More than anything, though, we do prioritize low-income residents into our project. So, but yeah, no, I'd definitely like to get you signed up as a member and also really tap in with ways that we can help and that you can help our project as well. So I appreciate it.
In the chat.
Okay, so thank you, but so young lady.
That was the only one.
Oh, she was the only one, did she mention her name, so you have it now?
Yeah, Emerald George.
Okay, all right, so any other?
There's one comment by David Alvarado, and he asks, do you have to reside in North Richmond to be a member?
To be a community member, you don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, David, yeah. To be a community member, you do not have to reside in North Richmond. No, we are encouraging community members from all over to sign up as long as they stand in solidarity with our project missions and our points of unity. So I definitely encourage you to sign up if you are outside of North Richmond.
Okay, are there any other? Okay, so it's my turn. So everyone is done? Okay, so, okay, we keep it, brief, So, in order for everyone to understand the distinction between a land trust and the developers of what are doing here, from reading the report that we have received and what I have seen, that as far as the communities that you're looking at, and we're speaking of communities of South Richmond, Iron Triangle, and North Richmond. So it's just not just community. People have the tendency, just when you speak of community on North Richmond, it's broad. And your land trust that that you are working from and has developed this for you to actually get certain properties, and those properties become land trusts. You are not in any competition with any development that is going on. The land trust is land trust, where you're looking at families that want to be a part of the trust, period. And from that development of the land trust, they have the opportunity to work with you in order to become part of that occupancy of that property that has been purchased.
Yes, ma'am.
Period. Okay, so that's the sort of distinction. So it's not that you're jumping over into affordable housing. That is not. Land trust has its own characteristics.
Yes, ma'am.
And affordable housing have their own characteristics when it comes for developers. So it's a thin line, but it's for housing individuals that want to be a part of a community and what is available for that community under your trust.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, coming back to what I wanted you just to speak a little bit on as the unit apartment, one of the 3 apartments in it. The square footage is 800 to 1,600, correct?
I believe so, yeah. I
So
believe
you
there
speak
are
like
2 smaller units in the top.
And one, so it's almost like one is a studio or 2 is a studio and the other is like 2 bedrooms or something like that.
Yeah, I believe there's and I'm speaking on stuff my real estate manager would know a little bit more specifically about, but I believe the lower 2 units are 2 bedrooms and the top is a larger
Okay,
singular
that's just,
unit. Yeah.
I just have, like I said, I'm
No,
brief
yeah,
about the
exactly.
question. I just want clarifications on
Yeah.
certain things. The new construction that is being built, the location of this, you didn't mention the location of the 22. Is it under construction now?
It is, so we're in escrow, so we're taking possession of the property. It is 1925 Yaramita Street, right in front of Verde Elementary, right on the other side of the creek there.
So this is where the 16 and the 22?
Yeah, it's the old site of the Los Deltas project buildings. And so there's, it's actually ranges across the street. So there's a property on one side and then there's 3 other project buildings on the other side. And it'll be a singular site that will house 16 eco cottages.
Okay, and those cottages is 350 feet, square feet
Around 400 square
to
feet.
400 square feet. to give a visual, and I don't know if they, and this is my question,
No, we
just
open
for
to all questions,
people on
exactly.
Zoom to get an idea of the size of the cottages, right? Cottages?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we were to say, 350 square feet, or 400 square feet, so say from here,
About 20 by 20, yeah.
20 by 20, so
Yeah.
from here to here to here. to
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, about,
Right,
Yeah.
here, yeah, okay, good.
yes,
I'm pretty
ma'am.
good with that. Here.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and to quarter that out, you have, a space for, kitchen, a little kitchenette, a bedroom.
Oh,
It's
the
like a
internal,
studio. Yeah.
yeah, it is, so
the
we don't
build-out.
want to use the term tiny home because it implies that it's movable, and we really want to prioritize folks feeling like they have a stationary house that they're living in. So we wouldn't say it's a tiny home, but we're using the term eco cottages because it will be stationary. It's not on a trailer, bottom or on wheels. People will be permanent residents of the spot there. But yeah, it's
The interior, so the interior design holds a space for a bedroom, or it's just an open space and you're.
yeah, developer wise, we're actually in development of the cottages themselves. So that's something that we would love input on too from members, as well as we work towards a final design with the partner developers that we have. As far as the layout of the property goes, we actually have a design blueprint for it that shows how all 16 to 22 would be laid out, and some of the communal assets that would sit between them. But it is still in like development design.
Okay, so correct me, so they haven't been built yet. They're.
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
The Los Deltas projects are still standing there.
Okay.
And we're actually looking towards demolition on Q3 of this year.
Okay.
So working up to that, we actually have some programming around the site to kind of pay homage to the folk that lived there before and the memories that were built there. So we'll actually be on site during June to host an event there and kind of commemorate the spot prior to the first demolition. And then we're working on an interim use of the site that would include a community garden that would allow students from Verde Elementary, as well as community members around the site, to participate with the site prior to those spots being built. And then at that point, it would be under construction. So,
Okay.
we'll fall off of it.
All right, so that's
Yeah.
part of the schematics. That's
Yes,
part of
ma'am.
the
Yeah,
schematics.
that's all
Okay.
working,
I-
yeah.
And the reason why I'm asking is that I asked specifically for this location, because from my understanding and what I was told, on 23rd Street, they're building tiny homes. Are you familiar with that? And this is why I asked you.
Yeah.
If this were you all, was this Richmond land that was building the tiny homes there?
No.
So you are not, you're not.
No, we're separate organizations,
Okay, well,
separate
see,
projects. Yeah.
clarification.
No, we
So people
appreciate it.
here, And they said, well, you got something already on 23rd, that's not even you, okay,
No.
so I'm just bringing it on, I just want clarification,
Yeah,
okay?
no, of
So,
course.
thank you. The other question, and then I'm gonna turn you loose, I'm not here to grill you.
No, that's why I'm here. I appreciate all the questions. No, I'm here to try to get some clarification around our projects and make sure everybody feels welcome to them.
So, one of the questions that I had, asked you for, as far as we're looking at, the sites that are already in your portfolio, which we're looking at, Easter Hill on 24th, that home is, that's already stationary,
Yeah.
that's there, it's ready for someone to occupy. Is that correct? Or they're occupying?
The South 24th Street location is occupied by the residents that were there prior to us actually acquiring the spot. Part of us acquiring the spot was in collaborative intervention of them getting removed from the spot.
Okay, so.
They're
now-
still there. We're hoping to transition them into an ownership position at that spot. So
And
yeah,
under the umbrella as
of
Richmond
Richmond Land,
Trust.
as a Richmond Land trust.
There we go,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
it was on the purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the other three, Garamita, that's Birdie site, that was the one we negotiated with, Housing Authority. That one is in place, okay? And then we had another, what was the other one? I was looking at.
That's our only two active projects, that have a property attached to them. We have other policies we're trying to pursue, like the shared equity housing project that my teammate James is working on. But that isn't finalized and it hasn't been used to acquire property.
Okay, so you got two, you have, out of the four of the portfolios, you have two that are up and ready to go. The other ones are being negotiated and the other one.
Or
is-
policies, yeah, policies
Right,
around.
policies, and the other one is a new
Yes,
construction, right?
yes.
Okay, y'all, we're
Yes.
clear, okay. Thank you so
No,
very much.
I appreciate it. And like I
Okay.
said, I'll be here and, to B's point, this is, you know, I'm always here to tap in, do one-on-ones. We have office hours every week. I sit on office hours Thursdays, 2 to 4, and I'll make time as well. So I'd love to, you know, answer any other questions and, we'll definitely be happy to meet more too. So
Okay.
I appreciate y'all's time.
Well, thank you. So anyone is interested in becoming under the Richmond Land Trust, here's our person. For the Richmond Land Trust. Okay, thank you so very
No,
much.
thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, moving back. Everybody, just bear with me, okay? With that, we're going into our community agency reports, and with that, we only have about 6, and if you all can kind of keep it, well, I tell you what, let's just be out here about 6:30. So everybody kind of guard yourself with your reports. How about that? Okay? So if you got more than anybody else, it's welcome, but let's kind of, you know, keep it moving. So our first one is.
Hi, my name is Vair Melanov. I am the project manager at Community Housing Development Corporation.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead, sir.
My name is Vair Melanov. I'm the project manager at Community Housing Development Corporation.
Well,
We wanted to present with some updates about Legacy Court, which is affordable housing development project that we have on Fred Jackson Way. And we actually have the presentation. Can I share my screen?
We can.
Let me just do. We go. Okay. Perfect.
everybody good on Zoom? Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, I wanted to introduce myself again. My name is Vair Melanov. I'm the project manager at Community Housing Development Corporation. The other team members are on Zoom. I'll let them speak. I'll let them unmute and introduce themselves.
Hi, yes. Yeah, I turned on my camera if it'll let me. I'm Joanna Griffith. I am the Assistant Director of Real Estate Development for Community Housing Development Corporation.
And good evening. I'm Cheryl Kaur. I'm another project manager supporting Bayer on the Legacy Court Affordable Housing Development Project.
Perfect. Well, today we will be sharing some exciting news and details about the project, which will provide affordable housing to low-income households, which is called Legacy Court. That's the name of the project. And then we would like to share the project overview. So the project is located at 3 sites, which is 1243, 1300, 1329 Fred Jackson Way. As you know, it's like a couple blocks far from here. There is 3 sites. Site 1 will have 16 units, site 3 will have 11 units, and site 2 will have 16 units. So there would be a total of 43 units, 42 affordable, ranging from 1-bedroom to 3-bedroom apartments. And They will be designated for households who earns from 30 to 60% of the area median income. And then 13 units will be set aside for individuals experiencing homelessness, those at risk of homelessness, and in need of mental health services. The construction started in November of 2024, so last year. We've partnered with a general contractor who is James E. Roberts Obayashi Corporation. He's our general contractor, and Kadama Disiano is our architect. It's a joint venture between Community Housing Development Corporation and Eden Housing. Both developers are non-profit developers. The property will be managed by Eden Housing Management Incorporation. Let me move. So some of the building amenities would include community room, community kitchen, service office, computer labs, outdoor spaces. There would be a total of 48 off-street parking. There would be laundry facilities and then the bike storage. We are committed to involving the local community in this project. So if you're a local resident interested in employment opportunities in the construction industry, please fill out the form, and I can provide you the form that you can fill out. You can fill it out today and then provide it to me. You can also scan the QR code, which I will provide. You can scan it. It will transfer you over to our website, and you'll be able to submit all the information that is required, and it will be submitted all electronically. We would like to also invite you to our job fair that we are having on April 8th, which is Tuesday next week. The event will start at 12 p.m. and we're planning to do that at one of the sites. We'll be posting and the signs so that you'll be able to find it. You'll be able to find us easily. So please feel free to join us. And the next slide is, if you're interested in living at Legacy Court, we encourage you to join our interest list. You can visit this link that you see on the screen, and towards the completion of the project, you'll be provided with more information about the application process and additional details. And I can also provide you with a copy of this slide so that you'll have the link. And with that being said, do you have any comments or questions? I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, so actually this was a presentation and an update. So that was fine. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Hold on for a moment. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. It's open up to our floor and our audience. Questions?
I do have a question about the parking. You said off-street parking, that means not in?
Not on the street, but there will be dedicated parking lots on the site, so it's not on the street.
But it's not on the street, right?
Mhm.
I was thinking like 43 on the street. Okay, so you're gonna have the 43 spaces.
48
there.
parking spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've had lots of concerns from the residents.
Yeah.
And we'll try to kind of clarify that it's going to be off-street parking. Sure.
They were like, I mean, 'cause like I was saying, it's kind of getting crazy here with that, and when the super comes, it's kind of, a hard thing sometimes to do it, but thank you for
Sure.
clarifying that.
Sure.
Okay, any others before me?
Well, I noticed a lot of times with affordable housing, there are like these extremely like wait lists and things like that. So do you anticipate the same thing for this, or is there like a priority group, or how does that work?
I think right now we're still finalizing the whole process. We are scheduling the meeting so that we can discuss that with housing authorities, including the housing authorities. So we are planning to come to these meetings, and as soon as we get more updates, we can update the whole group on that.
Yes.
Did you say you had 13 units for designated for unhoused?
Yes, for individuals that are homeless, in need of experiencing homelessness and in need of mental health services, yes.
Okay, so here's anybody else, why this story? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, and I haven't had the opportunity to really meet you, but welcome aboard to CHDC. As we have, our, seasoned, staff online, which is, Ms. Joanna Griffin, and I don't know the other staff, I didn't catch her name, is that Carolyn?
Yes.
And Carolyn, thank you for coming aboard in order to, give us information to the community on, where we're at with the legacy court. My question is to you all and for the community. At this point, I see that we're moving very quickly, and you may hear me say "we" because I am part of CHB. That's my other hat. I am with CHBC. But if you could let the community know, give them a ballpark of when we may be completed with legacy court with phase 1, 2, and 3. Look like everything is coming up at the same time. And I know that, when it was introduced, we had phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but it's really going and it's really being built. So what is probably the timeline that we're looking at to have things done?
So right now we're looking to finish all the sites by the end of November of this year.
The end of this year?
Yes.
Okay, so the end of this year, we're looking at October, November.
It will be towards the end of November. So all of the 3 sites. So there are 3 sites that we have. All of them we are planning to complete at the end of November of this year.
Okay, and who is collectively looking at and actually, receiving, information from people that want to be housed, on our list? What type of list do we have going on?
So at Community Resource Center, I believe we're collecting the information. So if you're interested, you can provide that information. You can also submit you can put yourself on interest list by going through the website. It's our partners website, which is Eden Housing, and they are collecting all of the information as the Eden Housing will be managing the property. But you can stop by at our office, which is located on 1535 Fred Jackson Way, a couple of blocks far from here. You can notify us and say that you're interested in signing up for the interest list, and then we'll be happy to help you out.
Okay, and another thing, just to clarify, and then I'm going to turn you loose and let Joanna and Carol go home also. But as far as looking at and making sure that people understand that it is low income and moderate at this point,
It's
correct?
low income households. So it would be from 30 to 60% of area median income.
And then we're looking at market.
There won't be any
There's
market.
no market.
Yes,
Okay, so
it's
that's-
100% affordable housing.
Okay, affordable housing, let me make that clear, because people are trying to say what it is and what it's not, okay? One other question, and then then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Is it a voucher?
Could you speak up there and let them know?
Yes, this is me again. Is it voucher based as far as the affordability, like?
We are getting 25 PBVs, project-based vouchers, yes.
So with that, any other questions?
Annie, I have my hand raised. This is Joanna, sorry. I just wanted to, can you all hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify a few things. The project is in phase. It's all one phase, but it's being built on 3 separate blocks. But the construction is happening simultaneously. So all of the buildings will be completed at the same time. Additionally, our original construction completion date was March of 2026. However, the contractor has managed to, right now, we're about 2 to 3 months ahead of schedule on completion. And so the other thing I wanted to clarify is that in terms of the lease up, we are working with the housing authority. And what happens is the housing authority will open up their wait list. We usually do it, I don't know, Tony is on the line. We try to do it at least about 5 months, 6 months prior to construction completion so that the housing authority has time to open up the wait list, collect the applications, and start vetting the potential households. So the interest list that we have, once the housing authority opens up the wait list, then we will notify those individuals, or we'll give those names to the housing authority for them to notify those individuals so that they have the opportunity to submit an application for housing at Legacy Court.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Thank you for
Tony
clarifying.
has his hand up, and I just wanna do a time check that is like 2 minutes. So we have 10 minutes.
Okay,
We gotta-
so since we're done with, your report with Community Housing Development Corporation, and thank you, Joanna and Carol for being on Zoom. I'd like to thank you for the report and the update, and, surely come back again, okay?
Sure.
So we're gonna go back into, at the top of community, Country Club, the Housing Authority. And Tony, is he on?
Yeah.
I'm here. Hello.
Right, well, I'm sorry.
Evening, everybody. Just I was going to say on Bayer's report there and Joanna's comments, we will be opening up a site-based wait list for the legacy apartments. We have 25 project-based voucher units there. So be looking for that. If you haven't yet, you should get on our interest list, or just keep an eye on the press, because we'll be letting everybody know that wait list is going to be opening up. And if you don't apply when we open it up, you won't have an opportunity to get into those units until the wait list we create gets exhausted. So now's the time to get on an interest list so we can let you know that the wait list is opening up. Real quickly, regarding, you've heard a lot about some of the properties that we sold below market in North Richmond, particularly the former public housing units. So, like I've mentioned in the past, 4 nonprofit developers bought 17 different properties, and Richmond Land talked about the 5 that they bought. Excuse me, RCF, Richmond Community Foundation, bought 4 properties. CHDC also bought 4 properties, and Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services bought 4 properties. Richmond Community Foundation is currently remodeling the 4 that they bought. They will be marketing those soon, and they're kind of in the middle of that right now. First priority goes to residents that were relocated out of the former public housing property. And if none of them are either interested or qualified for, qualifying for a home ownership loan to purchase these units, then we'll continue to work with them to get them qualified for future opportunities. But the second tier will go to residents of North Richmond at today, who are interested in buying one of these properties. Collectively, it's going to be upwards of about I'm thinking about 35, 37 different opportunities, including the roughly 22 units that Richmond Land was talking about earlier today. While all that's happening, we're also in the middle of doing an evaluation of the proposals that were submitted for the main campus. We have 2 proposals that we're reviewing. We've already reviewed the paper proposals. We had interviews with both submitters this past Friday, and we have a follow-up with them in the coming week, and hopefully we'll have a decision made by the next MAC meeting. And we'll also be taking the recommendation to our Board of Commissioners to approve the sale of the main campus to the developer, and we'll get into an exclusive negotiating agreement with that party for what's going to happen to that property, what they're going to build, how many units. I will say that both proposals have a mix of rental property and home ownership property. The home ownership property will generally be affordable to families making 80 to 120% of area median income. If there's any opportunity to make them more affordable to families below that threshold, they'll try to do that. But again, much of this is tied to construction costs and the burden of creating the units and then being able to pay the debt service that is incurred in the course of building that. So we'll continue to bring the information back to the MAC as we progress through this process. In the meantime, we hope to finalize everything, get it to our board, get HUD approval on the transfer, and get a developer in there to start really kind of moving forward with replacing that giant empty lot with some beautiful housing. I think that's all I have for now. If anybody has any questions.
Tony, I have a question. This is Cynthia. I can't see how to raise my hand. You said only two buyers submitted proposals for the main campus?
It's actually three. One of them, the proposal wasn't fully responsive to the requirements of the RFP, so they were rejected up front. And there are two that are being reviewed. There are two partnerships of two different proposals. They both have partnerships. They're both strong proposals, but we're wanting to make sure that we make the best choice in moving the project.
And so they're talking about the entire main campus. It's not going to be sold in portions. It's going to be sold as one.
Yes, the proposals we have are for the entire 11.5 acres.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
It may be developed in phases because this is going to be a very expensive endeavor and probably along the lines of about $250 million worth of construction and building costs. So it's a tall order to think that anybody could do this in one big phase. So we certainly expect to see it in phases, but the proposal should be kind of a one master proposal that we can review and included in them all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tony, for the legacy court, so are you saying that the waiting list is just for the general public and not necessarily for those wanting to return to North Richmond?
So legacy court has nothing to do with the returnees. Legacy court is just a project-based voucher property that we partnered with CHTC and Eden on. They submitted an application along with 17 other developers back in the day, and they were selected to receive an award of project-based vouchers. 25 of the 43 units that you heard mentioned earlier are going to be assisted by project-based vouchers. So the people living there will pay 30% of their income for their rent portion, and the rental subsidy will pick up the difference. The other units will probably be priced at tax credit rents. And there'll be a wait list that we create for the 25 project-based voucher units, but then there'll be a separate wait list that CHDC or Eden Housing rather will probably be operating for the remaining units. So two separate transactions. The units that Eden Housing would be maintaining the wait list for would be the ones that are priced at tax credit rents, and the units that we operate would be tied to a rental subsidy through the project-based voucher program.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah,
Okay.
just a time check, we're at 6:29. We don't have, let me see if there's any hand, I don't see any
Okay.
hands.
All right, anybody else? Okay, thank you, Tony, for your update.
Thank you.
And for you coming back to the MAC and giving us, and continue us to be enlightened what's going on with the housing authority. Thank you so very much. Okay, do we have anyone from, Richmond Community Service Department? I guess that's, is that Public Works?
That's Jessica, and I saw her walk out, and I don't see her.
Okay, so let's move on. Okay, do we have any from Shield Free Neighborhood Council?
I don't see anyone.
Okay, here none. Okay, Tanya, you're on staff.
I'll give 3 quick reports. The first one is that we have 2 seats open for the MAC. So if you know anyone, if you want to apply, it would be really helpful because it really affects with quorum. And if there's like a business that wants to come in the community, the MAC does a excellent job at asking a lot of questions, at kind of asking them what they're going to give back to the community, at slowing down the process to make sure people are aware and know what's going on. So it's a really important role and we hope to fill it soon. So that's going to be kind of my priority. We'll be reaching out to people individually to see if we can fill these seats up as soon as possible. So that's one update. And then just what Latifah said, Chevron Chemical, it used to be known as the chemical plant, but now it's like Chevron Environmental Management. They changed the name. But it's basically those big ponds of water that you see if you're on Gertrude and Richmond Parkway. It's like on the other side of the parkway, the west side. And so they're looking to renew their permits. And I talked to DTSC about it this week. And they said that last time they renewed their permits, they got 0 public comment on it. So please, like, I'm gonna share it again and I'm gonna send a special newsletter just to share it, but please submit a comment, you know? And they said that they're willing to come to the MAC and talk more if there's questions. A lot of questions are generated. DTSC can come and speak about that permit.
Do people have to have their comments in?
It's about a month. Yeah, and it started today. Today was the first day that they released it. So I'll send something like tomorrow, and then if you can get the word out, that'll be really helpful. And then hopefully DTSC will start coming quarterly or something because there's other businesses in North Richmond that are seeking approval like Veolia and then some other ones. So yeah, they'll come. I'm gonna make this really short. And then there was like another. Oh, so I did talk to the Bay Area Air Quality Management District about the smell. And so they are gonna come either June or July to do a presentation about what is their process, right? When you pick up the phone and you call and you tell them it smells, you know, what is their process to address the smell? What do they do? And so it's gonna be like a community educational session to learn more about what they do and kind of initiatives that they have going on and how people can get involved and stay up to date. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your report.
Leticia, you have a comment?
I have 2 comments on that. One on the DPSC. Is there anywhere that they can come like more often, like to be one of the part of the reports that we have, like the sheriff or something?
I will ask. I know they have different staff, but I will ask to see if they can come at minimum when it's really important, you know.
And they did like this quick like survey I think
For Veolia?
Uh-huh. And that was really quick, really easy, at least for me to like to submit something. Maybe something like that, it will help to get more and you know get more make more people aware of this is going on and get people,
Well, the letters went out to every household, every resident.
yeah, they do, but sometimes do not, like, in my case is like, sometimes I don't even know, like, too much about what it is or this is, and just
Yeah.
throw it away. It's like, if you learn a little bit more about it, or there is a little bit more of outreach about it, maybe we are like open to say like, oh, this is affecting me, okay, this is maybe something important, you know?
Yeah.
Why to just disregard that and just.
No, well, okay, well.
Well, I'll put in the request.
Right, we put in a request.
Yeah.
Letters have to come out, and when they say we invite the community, they mean to invite the community to do the survey.
Much more
Yeah.
open. And, the other thing is, yeah, I heard about that with, Bay Area Air Quality. I mean, how about the, Contra Costa Environmental who, does, those complaints, because I called the number, I did a complaint, I have somebody call me from, at the second time, not at the first one, but at the second time that I called, somebody from there, contact me and gave me their phone number, and they said if there is any more, I can call them, but, I don't wanna really bug them, but I really would like to know, like, what is next, or
The
how do they
process.
handle this thing?
Okay, well,
Thank you.
right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Our chief staff will get with you and give the information so you can do a follow-up.
Yeah.
So they can tell you how the steps, that's what you would just.
We'll reach out to as many different departments and orgs to like understand the whole process, but we'll start.
Come out, people really get involved and read, because it's in, it's in English and in Spanish. One more question, did you have a question in the back? And then, okay,
Tanya,
and then we get to.
what she was saying is that, so when you call the Bay Area, whatever that one.
Yeah.
They're not, they said that they're not responsible for the smell, but the Contra Costa.
Environmental health.
So that's the people that we were actually like.
Passing the book.
That would be it, yeah. That's exactly what I think, yeah.
Okay, well, I know we work closely together, the county and them, so we'll hash it out when they come, we'll
Right.
really clarify all of that, yeah.
Very good, thank you, ladies. Okay, next is our Community Housing Development Corporation and the mitigation, this is our coordinator.
All right, I'm really fast. Right now, we have the North Richmond Green circulating. The ambassadors out, delivered it to each household in North Richmond. So be on the lookout for it. It also has the Earth Day flyer attached to it on the back. So that way residents know, right, are informed. Lastly, be on the lookout for CHCC's Clean Slate program. We will be holding an interest meeting soon. Date and time TBA. This program will be spearheaded by Phi Beta Sigma and fraternity and CHTC. And it'll be held at the Resource Center. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, real estate. Next is Urban Tilt. Okay. You have the floor. And welcome.
No, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Lopez, Community Engagement with Urban Health. I'll make it really fast. We do have a position opened up for a free farm stand coordinator. This just joins our free farm stand team to join the team and help provide fresh produce to our community for free. And also celebrating our Earth Day activities here at North Richmond at the Shields Reed Park, and doing a creek cleanup at Wildcat Creek alongside the Watershed Project and other organizations. And then another event at Unity Park, doing so many more other things as well. And if interested in joining any other events, we have flyers here in the back. Thank you, Latifa. And also available is our event schedule online at urbantil.org/events.
Okay, so back it up. Now, a new hire, are you a new hire at Urban Hill?
Not really,
Not
more,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
Focus mainly like watershed, so
Right, okay,
well-
so give a little, just a little, because this is my first.
oh,
time
okay, for
here.
sure.
You did mention your name real quickly, but I don't know if everybody.
Oh, yeah, of course. So
Yeah.
I am Cheryl Lopez. I am Watershed Community Engagement. So I work alongside the Watershed Restoration Team to do some work here at Wildcat Creek and other parts of the Bay and East Bay that we do. Mainly focused right now with some of our water conservation projects in the Iron Triangle. So if anyone knows anybody that lives in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, Coronado, that's interested in these free water conservation systems, we do provide those, and I would be the point of contact. And then we do other forms of service at the moment, in forms of a green infrastructure series that's also kind of focused in the Iron Triangle, where we're educating the community and bringing awareness of these green infrastructures that help prevent flooding and educating them on the city's GSI plans. Our next event will be this Saturday, April 5th, at the Nevin Community Center from 10 to 12.
Okay, now I have just a quick question and we getting ready to wrap it up, because I did promise everybody we're gonna be out before 7 o'clock. So just two things.
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned that you are with the watershed. Is that, you're with the watershed?
Urban Tilt's watershed team.
Urban Tilt.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. Urban Tilt watershed. Okay, so I don't have to answer that question. Okay, the other thing is, you kind of mentioned flooding.
Yes.
That takes place in the Iron Triangle.
Yes.
What is that location?
So the city itself is very much under a lot of flooding. We are working alongside the San Francisco Estuary San Francisco Estuary Institute and Partnership to work alongside to create these new city plans and educate the community on what these great infrastructures are. So things like the bioswales that are here down at Fred Jackson, sidewalk planters, rain gardens, and things like that help prevent flooding. Some of these GSIs are already in place within the Iron Triangle and some parts of Richmond outside of the Iron Triangle. But this one is kind of more Iron Triangle focused because it is one of the parts of the city that does flood the most. And we are doing this by having a community-led based community members come out and join us to get their feedback to be able to provide that to the city.
Okay, and I'm gonna just ask you one more time. The location, I know you said Iron Triangle.
Yes.
But the streets, where's the
So
street?
that it's a very extensive thing. So it can kind of go up to.
Is it first, is it off of, is it back
It's-
off of first?
Yeah, so it's gonna be coming off of like mainly from McDonald all the way down to Cutting. And then up to probably like Lucas Avenue and at the bottom of,
That's interesting.
yeah, it's a very big map that we're kind of working on.
Yeah, come back and look up.
Oh, for sure. I'd
You know,
love to help.
give us more insight on that.
For sure.
So, okay, well, thank you
Yeah, of
so
course.
very much. And you were presenting on behalf of Urban Hill, correct? Yes. Okay, is there anyone on Zoom?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, no, any hands raised. Okay. Well, with that, I would like to thank everyone for this evening, for the presentations and for the engagement and conversation. I'm getting ready to, I don't want to say the word yet, but I would like to let you know at our next meeting. Our next meeting will be held May, what? We used to have it on the back of the agenda, but.
I think we do. It's on the agenda at the bottom.
Well. Anybody know the first Tuesday of May?
May 6th.
May 6th, okay. Our next meeting will be May the 6th, and with that, I thank you all for attending on Zoom and here in person, and have a very happy Easter. Look.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy Easter. So thank you. Now we adjourn. Thank you all.
Thank you.